Okay, everyone, in the previous episode, there was an idea that came up, marking things out of 10, marking everything out of 10. And Tim and I thought it would be fun to give it a bit of a bash to do it for real. So how are you feeling, Tim? You got your critical eye on? You feeling analytical and ready to mark everything?
Am I? Wow. I'm actually really grateful for this opportunity because since you brought up that idea, I've been judging everything around me. And it's getting exhausting.
All right. So here's how it's going to work, people. I've come up with 10 things for us to mark. Tim doesn't know what they are, and Tim's come up with 10, and I don't know what his are. So we'll take it in turns naming a thing. We will both give it a mark out of 10. We will average the mark, and at the end we'll have 20 items that we will have ranked. If you want to play along at home, get yourself a scrap of paper. You can mark all these things as well. You probably will know most of them, I imagine. Some of them you might want to look up and then give them a mark if it's something you haven't heard of. And other ones you might be stuck and just have to give it a 5 or a pass. But feel free to play along. And if you do, tell us what your marks were. Like go onto the Reddit or something and let us know all your scores. It should be good fun.
Can I just ask a question? Have you prejudged yours? I have my...
No,
neither have I. I'm hoping in the moment it becomes crystal clear.
I think there should be a couple of rules because I can see what the two biggest problems may be already in my head, though. One is changing your score later. I think we should ban that. I think once we move on to a new object, the one in the past is in the past.
They're locked in, okay.
Just because, I don't know, we need a rule on that. And secondly is definitions of the thing. I think quite often when someone says a thing, the other one's going to say, oh, what do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean. You just have to take it as you hear it. The idea, the originator of the thing can say what it is, say what they want. They can clarify if they want, but otherwise you just have to take it as you hear it. All right?
All right.
Do you want me to go first with one of my objects?
So are you're gonna say your object and then give it a score, or you want me to then venture a score and then you'll come in with your score? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone who has to go first. We'll just take it as it comes.
All right. Bit of a test run. Yep.
The first one that I would like to score out of 10 is Milo.
Oh.
And according to Wikipedia, Milo is a chocolate and malt powder typically mixed with hot water or milk, or both, to produce a beverage popular in Oceania, where we are, South America, Southeast Asia, and parts of Africa. It's produced by Nestle. Milo was originally developed in Australia by Thomas Maine in 1934. So this is kind of like the Australian equivalent of having a cocoa.
Yeah. It's got a distinctive taste, though, doesn't it? It's a bit different to just sort of a hot chocolate or other cocos and things. Yeah,
it's not chocolatey. It's more malty, isn't it? Chocolate, malty chocolate. And like some people, I'm not pointing fingers. Some people are known to just eat it by the spoonful out of the tin, which is not what it's made for, but it's delicious.
Confessions is an entirely other podcast idea.
Yeah.
We may make at some stage or we may not.
Just to give you a clue where I stand on this, when I'm still in quarantine in Adelaide in a hotel room, and one of the first things I did was order a tin of Milo. I've had a tin of Milo here with me the whole time.
And how large is the tin?
Oh, it's only like a normal medium tin. I tell you what I noticed straight away though, Tim. Milo is different in different parts of the world. I order Milo in Britain. It's not common in Britain to have it, but I order it in. And I think the Milo I get in Britain is more kind of like the Asian Milo, and it is a finer powder. When you get your Milo in Australia, it is a bigger grain size, and I prefer Australian Milo considerably. So I'm going to be rating the Australian Milo today.
All right. Yeah, that's the one I'm used to as well.
Out of 10. I know, I mean, obviously your mum is legendary for making you cups of Milo and me cups of Milo when I'm there.
So, especially you, yes.
Especially me. Well, you were just used to them. For me, it was a real novelty being able to have them on call.
Oh, it was Uber Eats before it was time. Yeah. I don't drink a lot of Milo anymore. Very rarely. I'll have a decaf coffee or a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Or a proper coffee, but I mean, the sort of end of the day kind of Milo sort of experience is not common for me. I did recently make one though, because I was in the mood and I enjoyed it enormously. And I thought to myself, geez, I should have this more often. This is marvellous. So out of 10, putting in nails, colouring in nails, nailing your colours to the mast is the particular statement. I'm
colouring your nails.
Colouring your nails. Sorry, I got distracted by what I'm doing here. I give Milo as a drink product a 7 out of 10.
I've put that in the spreadsheet, Tim.
Wow. No, wait. No.
It's in. It's locked in. I'm gonna go higher than 7. Milo's special to me because not only is it my hot drink of choice, so I have like a loyalty that, it also carries a lot of Australian nostalgia for me when I'm away from home. Like having a Milo in the evening is just like a little piece of home, and that gives it even more specialness in my book. It's a real daily touchstone for me, and for that reason I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do fractions. Okay, that's helpful to know. Good.
All right.
Yep.
So that is an average of 7.75, a score of 7.75 for Milo, which puts it top of the list so far, which is not amazing because we've only had one object.
All right. Well, okay.
What do you got?
Strong start. Okay, I'm going to my subject is the colour purple.
That is amazing. The colour or the film.
The colour.
Because my second thing was the colour yellow. Literally, that was my second one. But I'm going to have to cross that out now because we said we wouldn't double up too much.
Well,
I have to call in one of my reserves. All right, anyway.
I have
you're in.
strong feelings about purple, so...
Okay, no, but you got in first. Well done. Firstly,
the definition. Purple refers to any of the variety of colours with hue between red and blue. So purple is closely associated with violet. In optics, purple and violet refer to colours that look similar, but purples are mixtures of red light and blue or violet light. And I really could go on into quite a bit of detail. I will say one thing about purple, as I've looked into it and done a bit of research, it does seem to be a very esteemed colour associated with the aristocracy and with royalty. Yeah. You know, even bishops in the various churches and so forth, and particularly in Asia. I won't go into it too much because we all know that the quality of my ideas is directly related to the version of how much research I do on them. But anyway.
I always get shudders when Tim says I've done a bit of research, yeah. Just stick with the gags, man.
So, yeah, anyway, but come on. What's your opinion? Do you have...
I have no qualms with purple. I like it a lot. I think it's it's one of the more fun colours. It's a fun word to say. Most of the times you see purple in use, it is something interesting, like it's something royal or it's something cool. I listened to a whole radio documentary about the first purple-coloured dyes the other day, actually. It was really interesting. It is an interesting topic.
I've actually written a PhD thesis on the colour purple, and I'm just...
When I make my chemistry videos, it's one of the more fun colours that you can produce, like when you produce it from iodine and stuff like that. I am very pro-purple, and I'm going to give purple a 7.8 out of 10.
Wow. Gosh. Well, that is incorrect. It's...
Oh, really?
No, my score, I dislike purple. It's probably my least favourite colour. And
really?
I find it annoying to see. It's...
Give me an example of a time you've been annoyed by purple.
I'm driving along going, oh, yeah, no, there's cars and, you know, there's different variety. And then there's a purple one. It's like, whoa, gosh, that's like seared my eyes. It's
Purple's not a good car colour, I'll give you that.
No, it's too strong. It's like, here I am. And it's like, but not in a confident way, in a... You know what I mean? I'm trying to be loud way, and I
think purple says, look at me without standing out too much. I think it is more muted than, say, like a pink or a yellow. You know, I think purple is, yes, you should be looking at me. I am different, but I'm not too much in your face. Maybe we're thinking of different shades of purple.
I think purple is like a dirty version of pink. Pink is pure and gorgeous, and purple is like, oh, you got black in it. It's ruined.
Ooh, dirty pink. All right.
It's a crass version of pink, whereas pink is fun and pure, and beautiful. So,
What does purple get out of 10?
2 out of 10.
Oh, what?
Yep.
2?
2. Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
And I tell you what, it's only like the only one of them is because the Queen's wearing it here, and the Queen's lovely. And the other one is because red wine has a little bit of purple in it.
Tim, you have caned purple.
Oh.
That's an average of 4.9 for purple. That's below par. That's below half.
Below Milo, that's for sure.
So the next one I was going to do was the colour yellow.
I love yellow.
Should we do yellow?
We can do yellow.
Should we do yellow?
Let's do all the colours.
Let's do yellow. Where do you stand on yellow?
Oh, look, I love yellow. Yellow is bright and exciting and fun. Yeah, I think it's... Yeah? We play, I'm sure it's a very famous game, maybe in other countries too. Whenever you see a yellow car, someone yells Spotto, and our kids have played that for years.
What do you yell? Spotto?
Spotto, spotted a yellow car, yeah. Because they're about every sort of 10th or 20th car, so there's lots of white cars and red cars and all that, but then every now and then there's a yellow one, and so it's like, oh, Spotto.
Okay, Spotto.
Spotto.
What do you do when you see a purple car? Or do you just vomit?
Just turn away. Don't look, kids. Don't look.
So what does yellow get out of 10 then?
Yellow's great. Yeah, it's not my favourite colour, but it's a strong colour. It's a nice. It gets a 7. Gets a confident 7.
I'm going to go lower because yellow is like, it's a bit too eager to please. It's a bit too sunny and happy for it's too overtly happy. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I'm yellow. Aren't I nice and happy? Doesn't everyone aren't I a ray of sunshine in your day?
See, that's how I feel about emojis, I guess. That's right.
Yeah. Well, most emojis are yellow.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I want to downgrade my score.
But it stands out in a nice way. It's really nice for YouTube thumbnails. I use yellow in my thumbnails a lot because it stands out nicely.
Oh, yeah.
It's a useful colour. I'm going to give yellow 6.4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. But
Thanks, man.
So we'll let that stand.
All right.
All right.
There we go.
Let's move on to green. eBay.
Oh, good one, man. That's a good one. Because eBay's really useful. Like, it's really changed my life for the better in lots of ways. But it's a terribly, terribly designed website.
Ah, yes.
It's a terrible interface. The back end of eBay, when you start using it more, on a more industrial scale for selling things, is awful. It's a mess to look at. There's ads everywhere. It's just hideous, but it's got such utility in my life, and it's been such a game changer in good ways. I also think they're a bit extortionate sometimes in how they treat their sellers too. As a company, I don't like them. As an invention, I do like it. As an interface, I hate it. I'm going to give eBay 6.9.
6.9. Oh, that's a higher than I thought you were going for.
It's the high because of the utility.
Yeah.
Game changer in my life. It's given me access to things I would never have had access to, and I do appreciate that.
To me, eBay it still feels like an early version of the internet. Like,
yeah, like MySpace.
Yeah, those crappy ones with lots of white everywhere, Yeah. It's like a really early 90s version and stuff, and the photos are all really bad, and like when rock bands, all the pictures are different sizes and stuff, and
it
looks messy. So
you can get ripped off. Yeah, it's all sorts. Yeah.
Yeah, so I concur with most of your comments, and yet I go browsing because it's there, and so you end up using it. I don't sell a lot. I have sold some things, but I've bought many things and rare things, and I like its accessibility and the way that it's brings the world of obscure bits and pieces to me. So I'm probably in the 6s too. What did you say, 6.8?
I gave it a 6.9.
6.9. I'm going to go one less than you because I probably don't need it for my work or use it like you do. So I'm going to go 6.8.
That's an average of 6.85.
Yep.
That moves it just above yellow. eBay's just better than yellow.
That's not bad, really, because yellow's been around a lot longer than eBay.
Okay, my next one, Tim, is I want you to give me a score out of 10 for Tom Cruise's physical appearance in the film Top Gun.
It's telling that I don't need to Google it. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
All right, so there's a few ways to measure this because you can measure him against the other characters in Top Gun.
Yeah.
Or you can compare him to him and the way his physical appearance in other Tom Cruise movies or with other specimens of masculinity generally.
I mean, he rates pretty highly no matter what way you do that.
Or with me. Like I could compare him to me, which case he certainly rates very highly there too.
Come on. What's Tom Cruise out of 10 in Top Gun?
Is there a particular scene? Like, is it the volleyball scene, or is it in in the planes?
Just the whole film. Just the film as a whole. You feel free to highlight any scenes you particularly enjoyed, but
on the bike with the jacket, the white t-shirt.
Yeah. Out of the shower in the lift with Charlie. Look, I'm gonna go first, Tim, because this is obviously difficult for you.
Yeah.
He's a 9. Women wanted him. Men wanted to be him. Like, he's looking pretty handsome. He's looking pretty cool. Like, you look back at it now and you don't even think, oh, that's a bit old-fashioned. He still looks awesome.
He still looks exactly the same, doesn't he, really? Yeah.
I mean, the only thing counting against him is he's a bit short. Other than that, I mean, he's looking pretty good there. I can't deny it. That's a 9 out of 10, Tom.
9 out of 10. Now, listen, can I just ask, what did you give Milo? Have you given him more than Milo?
I gave him more than Milo, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought you'd rate anything higher than Milo, but I underestimated your passion for Tom Cruise.
Very good. What are you giving
I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to give him an 8. Yeah.
Where does he drop points?
Just to differentiate myself from your passion for Tom.
Okay. Just to stitch me up.
That's right. To leave you out there hanging.
Thank you very much. That puts Tom Cruise top of the pile with an average of 8.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. What do you got next?
What I've got next is Thursdays. How do you rate Thursdays?
Start me off here, Tim. How do you rate Thursdays?
Well, would you like some interesting research into Thursdays?
Go on then.
Thursday is the day of the week between Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah.
It is the 5th day of the week in countries that adopt the Sunday First Convention.
Right.
It's derived...
It's the first day of the week in countries that adopt the Thursday First Convention.
It's true. It's derived from Thor's Day in the Old Norse, named after the Norse god of thunder, Thor.
All right.
And there's a lot of information here that involves other languages and history that I could go into. Thursday's
interesting. Can I tell you my first gut instinct?
Yeah, go for it.
Because as is so often the case, my gut instinct always goes back to childhood. Mm-hmm. Like these days, Thursday is a bit of a nothing day, isn't it? Like it's kind of, you're not quite at the end of the week. It's not the middle. It's a bit of a meh day normally. But I always see, I have, for some reason, burned in my head when I was sort of between the ages of 5 and 15. Thursdays was always a really good TV night. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like there were good shows on a Thursday.
Definitely.
So Thursday, just the word Thursday fills me with this little tickle of excitement that I think relates back to there were good shows on tonight.
Yep.
And that is still residual in me, even though, scheduled television means nothing now. There's no good sport on Thursdays. The Champions League games are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and all the boring UEFA League games are on Thursdays. And so these days, Thursday holds nothing for me, but it still carries that tiny bit of cachet, but only just. And for that reason, I'm going to give Thursday a 6.5.
Yeah, right. Yep. I know exactly what you mean by that childhood memory. There was I think it's actually a very high-rated primetime night for big shows.
Right.
Traditionally.
Right.
I know that means a lot less now. But
yep.
It does set up a bit of a groove, things like Family Ties, Knight Rider, some of these sorts of things were Thursday night.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. But I like it too. It's also in the suburbs of Adelaide. It's late night shopping night. And so I in my early teen years, because we live near Marion Shopping Centre, I would sort of wander over and, just look around the shops and be at the shopping centre and, get a milkshake or whatever. And I kind of like doing that after hours, sneaking back to
That's part of it. You've reminded me, Tim, that's the other part of where that residual excitement comes from. Thursday was the night you would go to like Marion Shopping Centre and get to shop at night. Yeah.
And probably get takeaway dinner, in the food court.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like Thursdays. There's a lovely feeling tomorrow's Friday, which is kind of the fun day, all right. So you're looking forward to it and it's,
Yeah, it's Friday Eve.
You've broken the back of the week, Most of the hard work's done. You're coming into sort of slowly easing into the relaxing time. So I rate Thursdays pretty highly and I'm going to give them an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, that moves Thursday up into third place, above eBay but below Milo.
I think that's about right. I think that's good.
Yeah, sounds about right, yeah. I want to hear your rating for Australia's Parliament House.
Ah, yes.
This is in the city of Canberra, the capital of Australia, of course. It's quite a modern building. The old Parliament House still stands, but on a hill right behind it, they've built the modern Parliament House. Iconic building for Australians. Go and look it up if you haven't been there and want to rate it along with us. Tim and I have been there together once on a road trip, I recall. We stopped in Canberra and we did the tour, didn't we?
Yeah, there was an official reception for us. And we addressed the Parliament and...
Yep.
Look, it's a pretty... it's sort of infamous building in a way because it cost $1 billion back in 1988 or through the 80s, which was a lot of money back then. I know it's not really anymore, but it's an expansive building. I'm not a fan of it. I think this is a classic case where the concept kind of doesn't work as a building. The concept of the building, if you're looking at a picture, is you can see there's green grass that goes over the roof, and that is supposed to signify that the people are always above the government, and that's a good concept,
Because it almost looks like it's built into a hill, doesn't it? Like it's underground almost in a way.
Yeah. And there was a documentary on it a little while ago by a former colleague of yours, actually, Annabelle Crabb, from back in your journalist days, that was very popular, going inside Parliament House. And there's some cool stuff and some lovely practices and stuff. But as a building, it doesn't feel like it's got a heart. It feels like it's a bit tomb-like, or it doesn't feel like it's got charm. So I'm not a big fan of it, I have to say. I'm not a big fan of it. There are some things I like. I do like the colours on the furnishings, and I like the Australian wood that's used. There's lots of wood and lovely wooden floors in a few rooms and all over the place. But as a whole, I'm not a big fan of it, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
I feel like I shouldn't like it because I'm... the older I get, the more I like old things and traditional things, and I don't like the newfangled modern interpretations and, trying too hard to be all symbolic and politically correct and everything. But there is something I find somehow intoxicating about the Parliament House. It's kind of, it feels adventurous, it feels like there's always interesting things around every corner, and I don't know, it has an effect on me when I'm there that surprises me. I mean, I haven't been there for a very long time, but my memories of it are fond, and against my better judgment, I like it. I think it was successful, and I'm going to give it a 7.
A 7.
Because I like important places as well, and it's an important place. So
It is.
I don't disagree with your sentiments, but I am more sympathetic towards it.
Actually, one of the sad details about it is because of security, they've actually put blockage fences up now, so you can't actually walk up on top of it anymore.
That's a shame. Yeah. Because walking up over on top of it was one of the real fun things to do. I'm not surprised, but yeah, that is a shame, and that certainly would, if I went back there now, affect my rating, I would expect. But yeah,
they may continue to use it despite our rating.
Yeah. That they've heard that it just scored an average of 6 and have decided they're going to build another one.
Let's try it again.
They rank below yellow, for goodness sake.
They should have just put yellow there.
Yeah. All right, Tim, a quick break from the marks out of 10 for a sponsor message. It is the return of the sponsor with the coolest of cool names.
Yes.
It's Backblaze.
10 out of 10 for the name, straight out of the box.
10 out of 10 for the name. This is not an official mark, by the way. This is just us spitballing, so you'd have to write these ones down.
Right.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 name. I'm not going to give the product a mark out of 10 because I have such a huge conflict of interest here because this is a sponsorship message. But if I was marking it out of 10, it would definitely be in the 9s. I love my Backblaze.
And you have proven experience, don't you?
Oh, Tim, I'm about to tell an anecdote, and there is nothing more disappointing than my Backblaze anecdotes because while they mean the world to me, they always come across a little bit on the dull side. But they'll get to that in a second. Backblaze is a service you put on your computer, and it's constantly updating all your files and everything on your drives and whatnot, so that all your documents, all your music, your photos, your videos, all your projects, everything that's precious to you. And then if something goes wrong, and things go wrong, and they can go wrong really catastrophically so that any sort of on-site backups you have might be gone, Backblaze has the whole time been quietly in the background, just placing everything ever so gently in the cloud, and you can get it all back. You can download it from the cloud, or you can get them to send it to you on a drive as well. Fantastic service.
Ever so gently in the cloud. I love that. What a lovely sentence.
Sounds nice, doesn't it? It's a nice mental picture. Touch wood, I'm yet to have the big catastrophe since I've been using Backblaze, so I haven't had to download everything. But another feature of Backblaze that I really like is you can just go remotely from your phone or from another computer into your Backblaze account and retrieve individual files that have been backed up there. As you know, I'm currently quarantining in a hotel room in Adelaide. Mm-hmm. Nearly, my freedom is approaching, but I've been working on a laptop the whole time I've been here in the room. Before I left home, I took all the files and things I thought I would need on the road with me, and I put them on my computer, everything I think I need in the course of a working week. Inevitably, the time came when I needed a particular file, a particular Photoshop template that I needed to make something, and I didn't have it. I'd forgotten it. I hadn't put it onto my laptop, and I needed it. I needed it badly. 10 seconds later, it was on my computer. I logged into Backblaze, navigated into the folder where I knew it was, downloaded just that one individual file I needed, and I could get on with my work.
Nice.
Backblaze to the rescue once again.
I know what you mean when you say that your anecdotes don't sound to others as exciting as they are to you. But
No.
I do know that when it's you, and I have been in that position before, it means everything. It's so frustrating to lose work or to not have the thing you need. You know it, people you know it. So I can enter into my own anecdote memories and connect it to your anecdote, and it makes your anecdote come to life.
The reason Backblaze stories are so boring is also the beauty of Backblaze, though, because the reason they're boring is because they always have a very happy, non-dramatic resolution.
Indeed. That's a very good point. Yes, it's benign because it's like, well, that's not a great story. Just get it from Backblaze.
And that's why you sign up to the product, because you want the benign ending. Now, you're looking at $6 a month to sign up. You'll get unlimited computer backup for Macs and PCs. But let me say, you can actually do a fully featured free trial. You can sign up for that, and you can sort of test it and see how it works. And that's actually how I first got into Backblaze. I did a free trial, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is easy. This is working. This is giving me peace of mind. And then they hooked me in, and I signed on for real. But, $6 a month seems like nothing to me for what you get. If you would like to do the free trial or sign up completely, go to backblaze.com/unmade. It's backblaze.com/unmade. That way they'll know you came from here, and that's good for us too.
Cool. Nice. Thanks, Backblaze.
I didn't think we could get through this without leaning a little bit into the legendary other Tom, that being Tom Hanks. So I've decided to nominate a film that I've gone back and forward on over the years. His film from the year 2000, Castaway.
I rate this film highly.
Do you really? This is the film, a survival drama, where he plays a FedEx employee stranded on an island after his plane crashes, which is a pretty classic theme in storytelling history. And this is kind of his take on it. But you're a big fan. Talk to me about why you like this film.
I just find it really watchable. People familiar with some of my little side interests will know that I'm really into plane crashes, and it's got a really iconic, interesting plane crash, and it's about the aftermath of a plane crash. So that gives it a real head start. I think Tom Hanks is great in it. I'm fascinated by the idea of being cast away on a desert island. I like the first section where we get to know him. It's really interesting. I love the plane crash. I love everything on the island. I find it really fascinating. And I even like the bit they tag on the end when he goes back to civilization. That works for me too. For some people, I can imagine it wouldn't, and they feel like it should end when he gets rescued. Spoilers. But for me, even the tagged bit on the end works. I find it wholly satisfying. I always enjoy watching it. I think I like it more than the average person, and I'm going to give it an 8.8.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a big, strong endorsement there.
Where do you stand?
Oh, this is one that I'm going to have to feel my way towards a mark with because
Can I go and get a Milo while you do it?
Spoilers, it won't be higher than the Milo. I like the idea of it. I love the idea of a castaway. It's just an ultimate... It felt like it played a significant role in the imagination of my youth, being on an island and having to survive and all that. That was like big make-believe stuff. This sort of setting, this plot played a huge role in the make-believe world of my playtime as a kid, being on an island and, bouncing through trees and all this sort of stuff. But I don't know, it irks me for some reason when I actually watch it. And one is I never stop thinking about it being Tom Hanks all the way through, so I don't get lost in the character. And then he looks like Tom Hanks with a big matted amount of hair, and I don't stop thinking about him still as being lovely Tom Hanks, but with a big, matted lot of hair. Whereas
So you can't suspend disbelief because he's so famous.
Yeah. Although I do in other films. I have been, as you know, a big fan of Helen Hunt, but I don't like her in this so much. She feels Helen Hunty, like she's kind of herself, and you can't. I don't sympathise with her, even though you should, because she went through the worst thing. So she doesn't totally land it for me. I also felt, and this is a strange thing, I feel disappointed. Like, I reckon there's more cool stuff that could have been done on the island, and I was a bit let down by what happened on the island. I know there's the whole Wilson thing, and that's okay. I kind of get that, and that works a bit. But the highlights for me are the moments like when he gets fire and the building the raft and the sort of the actual survival-y fun things that are the sorts of things that you love as a kid. And there's not enough of those, or it suddenly jumps forward to him being master of them and we didn't see enough of the journey, and that would have been the fun stuff for me.
All right.
It also feels like a really big ad for FedEx. Like, it feels like an ad the whole time.
And that is pretty overt product placement.
Yeah. But there are moments and I really love it. And when I tell you what it is, the reason I'm vexed about it is because if I'm switching channels and it's on, I'll watch it every time. And that's probably the sign of a good movie. Even though I sit there going...
That's my criteria. What are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay. Harsh in my opinion, but I've got to respect it.
Yeah, you have to respect it. Respect it, man.
That gives an average of 7.4, which means Castaway is just below Thursdays, but above eBay.
eBay's taking a pounding here tonight.
It is. Well, it's in 5th place. So anyway, let's move on. I have for you Hallies Comet.
Yeah, cool.
Let me read the start of the Wikipedia article about Hallies Comet. Hallies Comet, or Comet Halley, officially designated 1P/Halley, is a short-period comet visible from Earth every 75 to 76 years. Halley is the only known short-period comet that is regularly visible to the naked eye from Earth, and the only naked-eye comet that can appear twice in a human lifetime. Halley last appeared in the inner parts of the solar system in 1986 and will appear again in mid-2061.
Cool.
Where do you stand on Halley's Comet, Tim?
The funny thing about Hallies Comet is because it came in the 80s, I think of it as being like an 80s thing, like as if it was invented in the 80s.
I'm going to call you on this, Tim. I'm going to call, like I call most people, it's Hallies, not Haleys.
I've always thought you were
Hallies.
mispronouncing it.
No, it is Hallies, named after Sir Edmund Halley, who predicted its return, but did not live to see its return.
Oh, that's a shame. I like Halley's Comet, probably, for nostalgic reasons, that we studied it at school and it was around in that particular time, but also because I saw it so clearly and distinctly. I went out in the backyard and had Dad's binoculars and looked at it and I went, there it is, wow, and it looked cool. And I often think about it, and I'm not terribly interested in space, and yet there it is, see it in my memory. So I'm going to give Halley's Comet, like, certainly compared to other comets, it's way out ahead.
Can you name a single other comet?
No.
What are you going to give it out of 10?
I'll give Halley's Comet an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yep. It would get a higher score if it came more regularly. Takes its time.
I tell you what, I think it's a period of 75 to 76 years, about a human lifetime. In fact, exactly around Mark Twain's lifetime, because he was born in the year it came and died in the year that it came back. He always said he would die when it came back, and he did. Oh. I think it's just this perfect amount of time. It just touches each human's life once or twice, maybe. It's so ingrained into our culture. It's like it appears in artwork. It appears in the Bayeux Tapestry because the Battle of Hastings was happening around the time Halley's Comet was there. So you see this comet sewn into the tapestry. It's so part of our human interaction with the solar system. It's the glamour comet. It's quite pretty. It's a nice-looking comet. We sent a space probe to it last time it was here. There are so many stories about it. It's got everything going for it. It's almost your perfect solar system object, not including the planets because they're kind of definitionally the solar system, so they don't count for me. It's like an extra in the movie of the solar system, but it's the standout extra.
Yeah.
It's the one that gets a speaking role. And for me, you can't improve upon Halley's Comet in any way. It plays such a role in science, in culture. Even like someone like you has memories of it. Halley's Comet for me is getting a 10. It gets a 10.
Wow.
It gets a 10. What could I change? What would I want? Like, nothing. Halley's Comet does it all.
Gosh.
Thank you, Halley's Comet, for being Halley's Comet. You get my first 10.
Wow. Even more than Milo? Even more than Tom Cruise in Top Gun?
Yeah, I know. Better looking than Tom Cruise. Unbelievable.
Oh, well, that's a big rap on a comet, I tell you. Wow.
I know, I've bigged that one up. So I don't think we'll be around to see it next time, but there you go.
Is it particularly special for us in the Southern Hemisphere? I think I remember something, we see it more clearly than the rest of the globe, or is that ridiculous? Is it impossible?
No, that is possible. I'm not sure what it can depend on its kind of inclination to the plane of the solar system. I don't know enough about Halley's Comet, about that aspect of Halley's Comet to be able to answer your question.
I remember on the news, the descendants of Halley flew to Australia or came to Australia because apparently you could see it better here or something. I've got a vague memory along those lines.
We'll do some research. Tim will do some research and can comment on that in a future episode.
Oh, yes. Upcoming Unmade idea.
I mean, I'll point out, like, that 8.5 is the highest score you've given so far, equal with Thursday.
Well, there you go. Well, at least Thursday's a bit more regular. Like you...
Yeah. I was born on a Thursday and I'll die on a Thursday.
Imagine if Thursdays only came around every 75 years.
Oh. That's a long wait between Knight Rider episodes.
Certainly.
Let's get through them. I think 20 was a big ask, and I'm now realising.
Yes, it is. We're taking a... What are we up to?
This will be the 10th one.
Oh, really? Oh, gosh. I need to keep going. The Beverly Hills 90210 graduation episode from 19...
Oh, I almost chose that. This is the original series of 90210 where they had... Well, it wasn't the finale because it went on after high school, but this was the end of their high school years and they had their graduation ceremony. It was really more of a flashback episode than anything. But it was around the time we were graduating from high schools and we were really into the show at the time, so it became like a must-watch thing for us, and I know you taped it and it was watched back a few times.
Yes.
I mean, I have fond memories of it for the role it played in our life in, what was it, 1993?
Yes, the end of 93.
Yeah, I have fond memories of it for that. I think in like the grand scheme of things, it was a bit of a rubbish episode. Because it was all like, it was just flashbacks and it was just like mashed together. And the bits in between were terrible. In between the flashbacks. I think I've watched bits of it. Like I went to watch it once online, like on YouTube or wherever. And I just found it a little bit boring and unwatchable. So but I respect the nostalgia. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 6.
It was perfectly timed for us, really, because the episode, the graduation obviously finishes in the middle of the year in the States. But by the time the episode got here, it was the end of the year. So we were also finishing our year when our school year finishes. So it was perfectly timed for our prom and all that. So I also think of it as a bit of a signing off from 90210 as well. Like we were moving on with our lives. And so... Yeah. It was time to move past it. Sure.
And here we are 27 years later still talking about it. Moving on with our lives.
I really think this time we have to leave it behind and move on.
Please, Tim. We are going to watch it when I get out, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
And it's always permanently in the machine.
That's right, yeah. I had it on VHS for years and years. I may even still have it in a box in the shed or something. Or not in the shed anymore, but in the box. I can't remember if I found it recently. Yeah, it's pretty legendary. There was a sense of farewell and sentiment. There was some legendarily awful flashback moments. One, of course, the great moment is that at the senior breakfast, they're showing, like, here on a video screen, like in the show, hey, everyone, let's look at some great moments, that we've had this year, our senior year. But, of course, then they're just moments from the episode about the main characters. And it's like, well, who's filming this? Like, this is...
filmed with professional cameras on tripods. It must have been,
It's a bit meta.
They must have felt like they were in the Truman Show, all those characters all of a sudden.
That's right. It's like, what the heck? Yeah. That's not appropriate.
All right, what are you going to give it out of 10?
I can't give it 2 scores, can I? So I'm going to have to split the difference. But as an episode, I'm giving it a 6 for its legendariness in terms of that particular era of life. I'm giving it an 8. And so, I guess it's about a 7. So I'll give it a 7.
Yes, Tim, that is 7 is halfway between the two.
Yeah, I know. Hang on, I'll just get my calculator. I was just...
A 7, you say?
Just seeing if there's any variable factors involved in it. But yeah, its legendariness certainly drags it up a little bit. It loses points for how crap Luke Perry looks in his graduation mortarboard and, outfit. His hair was not able to shine that day.
Well, there you go. It's official. The Beverly Hills 90210 graduation episode is better than Australia's Parliament House, but it's not as good as The Colour Yellow.
And again, I have to go, yeah, that sounds fair. That's great.
We're good.
That's
we're
about
consistent.
Right. Yeah.
I like our style.
Good.
I want to hear your score out of 10 for KFC Chips.
Oh, okay.
The potato chips they sell at KFC. Not the chicken. Not the chicken.
Nope,
just the chips.
Yep. The chicken's obviously a 10. No question. No question.
Don't think my spreadsheet could handle the chicken.
I think the chips are pretty good. Yeah. I like the chips. And I don't know if it's just sort of, they win by association, you know what I mean? But they're pretty good. I think they're certainly better than Hungry Jack's chips. They're not as great as a good fish
Hungry
and chip
Jack's
shop
is Burger King, by the way, for people.
That's right, yeah.
Hungry Jack's is what Burger King is called in South Australia for legal reasons.
Yeah. It is also called Burger King in other places of Australia, but for some, anyway, we won't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, South Australia.
The McDonald's are hit and miss. Sometimes they're great if you're really in the mood for them, but often they're not great. I think they're better than fries from McDonald's. So how are they out of 10? I'll give them an 8.
I can't agree. McDonald's superior for mine by quite some distance.
I know. You're always been more of a Macca's man.
I think KFC chips can't decide what they want to be. Do we want to be fries? Do we want to be big fat potatoey chips? Do we want to be all about the crispy outside? Do we want to be all about the potatoey inside? They just can't make up their mind. And for that reason, I'm giving them a 6.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yep. Yep. Sorry. Got to call it as I taste it.
They are forever the bridesmaid, though, aren't they? Like when it comes to KFC. Like they very much... Like Macca's, I think they're a real feature. They're one of the great things.
Yeah.
But they're just so far below the chicken.
Behind the chicken.
That's right. Yeah. But they're like hanging out with the chicken. Like, you know, hey, we're part of the greatest meal ever. And it's like, yeah, but on
they're riding on the chicken's coattails. The chicken's had coattails.
It's tail feathers. That's right.
Yeah. Riding on its, yeah, good one.
Winter. Winter, yes. Okay, so winter is the coldest season of the year in polar and temperate zones. Winter does not occur in most of the tropical zones. It occurs after autumn and before spring. And I'm thinking people either love or hate summer, but generally love it. Spring and autumn, you sort of love them as well. But winter seems to be quite polarising, no pun intended. And I'm wondering, what do you give winter out of 10?
I'm all about winter. It's my favourite season.
Oh.
I like the cold. I don't like it when it's really hot. I like snow. I like rain. I like storms. I don't like bright sunshine beating on my pale skin. Winter, you know, I like winter sports. I mean, I don't live somewhere where it's all snowy and beautiful, but I think winter is the most beautiful season, even more so than autumn and spring. You know, I'm not that excited about leaves and flowers, but I love the starkness of winter. I'm going to give winter 8.3.
Wow, nice. Winter is a season that I like the idea of more than the experience, more than the reality.
I get that.
Certainly, when we're baking here in South Australia in the middle of summer, I talk up winter big time. Like when the reality of winter comes and you realise it's just wet and cold, and there's no snow in Adelaide.
Adelaide doesn't do winter well.
No. It gets a bit drab and a bit crap. And so I do like spring. My favourite season is autumn. I'll just let it be known. But, so winter is my least favourite. And so the reality of winter, having just recently come out of it into spring, I'm looking back on it going, thank goodness that we're out of that. And I'm going to give it a 6.
Respect, man.
Yep. If I lived in a different place, I can imagine giving winter a different score.
That still means winter ranks above KFC chips, but it's not as good as Castaway. All right. I am going to ask for your mark out of 10 for beaches, not the Bette Midler film, but beaches themselves. A beach is a landform alongside a body of water which consists of loose particles. The particles composing a beach are typically made from rock, such as sand, gravel, shingle, pebbles. The particles can also be biological in origin, such as mollusk shells or coralline algae. Beaches. Adelaide has many lovely beaches. England, not so many. Many places in the world do have nice ones. Where do you stand on the idea of beaches?
Well, funnily enough, my view of beaches is the opposite of what it is to winter. And that is that I actually dislike the idea of the beach. I think of it as being, it's down there and it's sandy and it's hot and I'm a glasses wearing person, so the glasses are going to be off and I won't see properly and it'll be, that whole thing. It feels like a hassle. And yet, when I get there, I get in the zone and I love it and I enjoy the beach. So because I went with the reality of the beach, of winter, I'm going to go with the reality of the beach. And I do like the beach. I like it. And I like it in all seasons. If I'm in winter, I like sitting in the car or walking along and it's windy or reading a book. I used to do that a fair bit, or sitting on the rocks or something. That's lovely.
Yeah.
If it's hot, it's nice. Sun going down, chips on the beach. We do that a lot and I really love that with the family. I'll give the beach, it a 7. I'm not a big fan, but I'll give it a 7.
I think beaches are highly overrated. I greatly dislike sand. A lot. There's hardly any shelter from the sun, and I hate the sun beating down on my skin, as I said before.
Yeah.
There's not much about the beach to recommend itself to me, except what it looks like. It looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's very pretty. And I like going on holidays to beachy places because I can see the beach. Mm-hmm. So the only thing about the beach I really, really like is the look of it. That's not to say I don't like the sea. I like being in the sea. I like snorkeling and being amongst the sea life. But that's not the beach. The beach, from the all-important part of the beach is the sandy bit or the rocky bit. And that's the bit that I take some umbrage with. So I would mark it more harshly if it wasn't so pretty, much like Tom Cruise's performance in Top Gun. So I'm going to give the beach a 6.4.
Yep. I can relate. Yeah. If not invited by others, I would probably never go to the beach.
Funnily enough, the beach has scored exactly the same as the colour yellow and got the same score from both of us as well.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's a very yellow. It is a very yellow environment, isn't it?
Usually, yeah. All right. What do you got for us? What's next in the spreadsheet?
The Schuyler Sisters, the song in Hamilton. I thought about doing Hamilton as a whole, and I thought, no, I'm going to make it a little bit more specific.
Yeah, okay. The Schuyler Sisters, which is one of the songs in Hamilton. And you have on a few occasions lately sung bits of it to me.
Yes.
I am a big Hamilton fan. I've seen it many times. I've forever been telling Tim how much I like it.
Yes.
He finally got to see it when it came out on Disney. And we're going to talk about this one song, not the show as a whole. We'll save that for another day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I like all the songs in Hamilton, and this is a good song, and it's a really fun part of the show near the start that introduces lots of characters. It's a really well choreographed one. It sets up lots of stuff that's important for the show about personalities of people and stuff. But for me, it's sort of one of the less Hamilton-y songs. It's definitely low on my list. It's one I will sometimes skip when I'm listening to the soundtrack.
Oh, wow. Gosh.
And I'm going to give it a 6.5. And I'm marking it in the context of all the songs that surround it.
Right, yeah. Okay.
It's a 6.5 for me.
Now, well, I have to say, I actually love this song, and it's stayed with me, and I sing it all the time, and including on a recent balcony episode.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I haven't watched Hamilton closely all the way through. I did watch it all the way through with some friends and drinking wine and telling gags and joking around. So,
okay.
But at that moment, it's earlier in the show, so perhaps it caught my attention more than some of the others. I should watch it all the way through and more give it what it's due.
I do hear you there, Tim, because the first time I saw Hamilton, I liked it more. It was one of the more standout songs, and that is, I think, because it's one of the real early bangers.
Yeah.
And also that performance of Hamilton I think I've seen it 6 or 7 times. That one had one of the best Angelicas in it, playing a lot of the song is sung by Angelica Schuyler.
Oh yeah.
And that had the best Angelica of any of the performances I've seen, as in the actress and the singer.
Yep.
She really blew everyone away on that performance. And ever since then I've never seen an Angelica as good.
Oh yeah.
So if you'd asked me after I first saw Hamilton to mark it, I would have given it a much higher score because of those factors. So I can see why, having seen Hamilton once and paying more attention at the start, you would rate the song more highly.
Yep. But I've played the soundtrack over and over, and I often play the song, and I've played it in the car, and I've listened to, and I go to that song. It's become the go-to song, and I really enjoy it. And I'm not big on musicals, I must say. I'm not a great musical lover, and I actually, dislike lots of them or find them dull or loathsome. But I love this song, and I'm going to give it, as a song in terms of enjoyable, I'm going to give it 8.7 out of 10. I think it's a great song for a musical. I think it's great.
Okay, so that gives Schuyler Sisters the song 7.6 overall, which places it at the moment just above Thursday, just below Milo.
Above Thursday? Wow. That's interesting.
Next, I'm going to go for a South Australian landmark that I know you've been to and a lot of people know I love, and that is the Big Rocking Horse at Gumaraka. This is a giant replica of a rocking horse that is made of metal and got ladders up the middle of it, and you can climb up to the head and get like a view. And next to it, in fact, let me read the Wikipedia article. That's always the best thing to do, isn't it? That's more dispassionate. The Big Rocking Horse is a tourist attraction located in the town of Gumaraka, South Australia. Designed by David McIntosh, the structure weighs 25 tonnes and stands over 18 metres tall, and is one of a number of big things in Australia designed to attract the attention of passing motorists. It is part of a larger complex that includes a wooden toy factory, wildlife park and cafe.
Now, can I just clarify something? Are you including the toy factory in the whole rating, or is it just strictly the rocking horse structure?
That's the rocking horse. But you can take the experience into account. The experience of going there and the factory. You can take it how you take it.
I don't love the rocking horse anywhere near as much as you do. I do remember visiting it as a child on holiday over from Victoria, so I had that childhood excitement, and I loved it then. I thought it was pretty specky. It's always bigger than I recall when I get there, but I don't love it like you love it. And I think without the toy factory, it would be a bit dull. The toy factory is pretty cool because you can walk around there and there's lots of little things. But
it is great, that little wooden toy factory.
Yeah. We bought some lovely toys for our kids over the years when they were really little, and they're charming because they seem, little wooden toys seem like more pure. They're not related to plastic advertising and tie-ins from McDonald's or anything like that. They seem good and pure and nice. So look, but I like the fact it's also largely uncommercial. It's like some guy built it and it's still going, and that's nice as well. So it's got a bit of integrity.
It's cheap to go up it. They only charge you a couple of bucks, don't they?
It's
cheap as chips. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'll give it a 6.7.
I love the Big Rocking Horse, and I always go there when I bring my wife to Adelaide. And as you know, when my good friend Derek came to Adelaide and I arranged for you to meet him and show him the sights, I asked you to take him to the Big Rocking Horse with his kids because I think it's a great place to take people because it gets you up into the Adelaide Hills above Adelaide, which is nice. It's in a really interesting location, nestled amongst the trees next to quite a little tame road, which is sort of surprising. It's like going back in time, like you talked about. It's still very pure and uncommercial, and yet it's so strange. It looks like something from another world, with its big doe eyes painted on it. It's like the whiteness of it stark against all the surrounding gum trees and things like that. It's just so different. There's so few places like that in the world to go and see things, and I feel like it's a real hidden gem in a city that's a hidden gem. And my enjoyment of it is far greater now than when I was a child. When I was a child, I was quite scared of it because I was scared of heights and didn't like climbing it. I remember climbing it with my sister and dad and having to stay down one level while my sister and dad went to the top level because I was too scared of the final staircase, or the final ladder.
Yeah.
So my memories of it are become more fond with time, and going there as an adult, I just have this different appreciation for it. It's like this little oasis of some kind of loveliness that I seldom experience anywhere in the world. And for that reason, I'm going to give the tacky Big Rocking Horse in Gumaraka a 9.2.
Wow.
I think it's really, really special place, and I'm going to make an effort to go up there when I get out of quarantine.
Wow. There you go. Yeah. Well, that's a big wrap on the rocking horse, that's for sure.
It is. If you go there expecting the world, of course you'll be disappointed. But if you go there just for a moment, just have a nice moment, you won't be disappointed.
And it's only slightly behind Hallies Comet in your estimation, which is
it is
really quite an achievement for the gentleman who built it.
In my estimation, it's just above Tom Cruise too. But you've dragged down the average, so.
What if you built a giant Tom Cruise in the hills? Would you go and see him?
All right. What do you got next? Let's crack on.
This is a bit of a strange one, but it's more of a Brady idea, right? And I was thinking about it. Okay. I won't condition my statements with any more comments. I'd like you to rate the number 23.
Okay.
So the number 23 is a very popular number, and it's been the subject of 2 films. It's one of the most commonly cited prime numbers. And apparently there's quite a lot of coincidences that occur with 23. It's obviously very famously Michael Jordan's number. The ancient Chinese believed that there was some sort of connection between the masculine and the feminine with the 2 and the 3. And I won't go into it all, but you can Google and find, as I've found here, I didn't think there was so much to it. There is an enormous amount of incidences that occurred that add up to 23. Has it been the subject of a number file? Have you done any work on it?
I'm sure it's come up in the number file videos. This is definitely suffering from you having over-researched it.
Yes. Anyway, well, what do you think of the number 23? How would you rate the number 23?
Obviously, as the maker of number file, I have strong feelings about numbers, and I have my favourites and I have my ones I don't like. 23, I do like it because of its primeness. I like a good low prime. I feel like 23, though, like as a number, has sold out to popular culture. Like all the numbers sit over in the world of mathematics doing their job. And 23 has been lured by the celebrity of becoming a cultural phenomenon because of Michael Jordan and then all the other people that have adopted 23. Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of lost its number credibility in a lot of ways. It's oh, look at me, I'm 23. Everyone wants me on their shirt. I'm all that. And that makes me want to shun it because I'm like, you've forgotten where you came from. You've forgotten what you are as a number. So for that reason, I'm a bit down on 23. And I'm going to give it a 5.5.
It's so funny that you say that because I chose it partly because I thought it's overexposed. It just needs to be rested for a generation or 2 before it's used again.
Shane Warne wore it, and you're like a Shane Warne obsessive, so you're going to love it. Shane Warne's an Australian cricketer, by the way, that was very successful.
That's right. He got a Nike contract, and it was he's obviously, you know what I mean? Chosen that number because it's I have to say it was also Dermot Brereton's number back in the 1980s. So
okay.
That's
Tim's favourite Australian rules footballer.
Yeah.
That was before Jordan popularised it.
That's right. So it was. I'm a bit annoyed by the fact that it became overexposed because it would be a nice pure favourite number, but I can't have it. I'm out of love with it. So I'm giving it a low number 2. I'm giving it 4. And there's a bit of spite in my score as well. So
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
All right.
Taking a strong stance. It's time to go, 23.
Bon Jovi, the band.
Huh.
For those unfamiliar with Bon Jovi, I will read Wikipedia. Bon Jovi is an American rock band formed in 1983 in Sayreville, New Jersey. It consists of singer John Bon Jovi, keyboardist David Bryan, drummer Tico Torres, guitarist Phil X, and bassist Hugh McDonald. Previous bassist Alec John Such was dismissed in 94, and longtime guitarist and co-songwriter Richie Sambora left in 2013. Bon Jovi. I don't want you to go through the complete discography if you can resist. I know you know a lot about Bon Jovi, Tim. You were a big fan of theirs through many, many years. What are you going to give them out of 10?
This is one of those bands that it's just tracked with you through your whole life. So it is funny. Yeah. They're sort of just always there in the background. I love them as a kid. But they've got a lot of very pedestrian music that they've produced as well. So they're a hard one to score for that. They're a bit like the nostalgia, and they do have some great songs, don't they?
I had their greatest hits one, I remember, in the late 90s or early 2000s, that greatest hits album they brought out with the photo of John Bon Jovi sitting in the cafe. That was just cracker after cracker, that one.
Yeah. That was a bit earlier, actually. That was actually in about 94 that came out.
Okay.
Yeah. There was some ordinary music that came out after that that's not included.
Right, yeah, I haven't really followed them at all since then, but they had a lot of great songs in the 80s and 90s. I kind of got into them a bit later, when they were at their absolute height of popularity. I was probably not quite cool enough to be into them. I was a bit of a latecomer, and I saw a concert of theirs after an Adelaide Grand Prix. That was a very memorable experience for me. I might tell that story another day. What are you going to give them out of 10?
Yeah, this is a hard one, isn't it? Gosh, because we're rating them now, and yet I still think I wear my jeans slightly tighter than I should because of the early influence of John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean back into that. And I'm gonna say I give Bon Jovi. Look, they're in the Hall of Fame. There's some crap music, but even Bob Dylan made a little bit of crap music. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give him a 7.5 for the early days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you?
I'm going to give them I would have given them a 7, but some of those early hairstyles, like,
They're pretty awesome, aren't they? They are great. That bumps it up a bit.
They lose points for that.
Sorry, they lose points.
That would knock them back to a 6.3, but I'll give them another 0.3 because of Someday I'll Be Saturday Night being such a great song. I'll give them a 6.6.
Nice.
I've said it before, and I will never stop saying it though. One of my favourite early Tim memories was you confessing to me that you had listened to the song. Was it Blaze of Glory?
Yes.
You listened to Blaze of Glory, and it almost made you feel sad because you thought a better song could never be written. They'd run out of good songs. Like, that was it. Like, music had peaked. Like, you're like, how can they just keep coming out with songs better than that? Like, that's just so good.
I can remember the exact intersection the car was sitting at, and I had my Walkman on in the back listening to it going, that is the best song that can ever be written. That.
Music has peaked.
It's just going, that is incredible. It's funny, I lost favour with it after that. I got a bit overexposed. I listened to it too much and stuff. But yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Favourite Bon Jovi song quickly before we move on to the next one?
Oh, hang on. Man, that's a whole episode in itself.
No. You've got you could. This is Torment of Tim style. There can be no other talking. I just want you to name a song.
I can't. I've gone blank. I can't do it. Oh gosh.
Can you name a Bon Jovi song you like?
I don't know any songs. I've got blank. I like Lay Your Hands on Me, maybe. It's the New Jersey era. I like that. Lay Your Hands on Me.
Let's move on.
Hang on. What about you? Is it Someday I'll Be Saturday Night?
Someday I'll Be Saturday Night. Yeah, Someday I'll Be Saturday Night. I love that song. What do you got? What are we marking next?
Oh, jigsaws. What do you think about jigsaws? Are you into jigsaws? What do you give jigsaws?
I don't do jigsaws. I've never really been into jigsaws. We mentioned previously my grandmother was. By the way, quick note, in the last episode I spoke about my nan doing a jigsaw in 1982 for the royal wedding, and I recalled what I thought it looked like. After the episode, I went and Googled it and found it, and my recollection was amazing. Amazing. I can't believe how... That was like, I was 6 years old and I was saying, it was sky blue and it had the two faces and ovals, and I looked it up and it all came flooding back. It was... Anyway, sorry.
Did you buy it? It's there on Amazon. Did you buy it for nostalgic reasons?
I didn't buy it, no. Okay. I didn't, no. Here's the deal with jigsaws. I don't do them. I'm not particularly into them, but I think they're cool. I love the way they look. I love the idea of them. I love what jigsaw pieces look like. I love the way jigsaws have become part of, like, popular culture and go into other parts of culture, like, using the term jigsaw, another piece in the puzzle and things like that. I think jigsaws are awesome, and I'm going to give them a 7.4.
Oh, gosh.
They're a good thing. I'm glad they exist. I have no bone to pick with jigsaws.
I am with you all the way along to when you started saying positive stuff about jigsaws. So... I'm disinterested in them. I can see what you mean about them being a good and pure thing, and they're lovely and they're worthwhile, and I'm sure they encourage people to spend time with one another chatting, and they get you off a screen, and they're good things to do. But I have zero interest in doing one.
Yeah. And it's different when you've had bad experiences with jigsaws too. Like, I'm quite happy because they've never harmed me. But if you've been forced into some jigsaw purgatory, I'm sure it's a different story.
Jigsaw purgatory is a wonderful way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's just, it feels like it would be. That's a fun thing. Oh, now there's hours of waiting, and then it fits. Oh, that's good, and it gets It starts off awful. It's not like it gets in. It's like, oh, here's the early good pieces that all come together. You know what? It's just like, this is going to be awful from the start.
I can see that about you too, though, because I don't think of patience as one of your virtues.
No, it's not.
I do think you're kind of impatient
yes.
You're very patient in the ways you need to be patient for your job, but I think your instinct is to be impatient.
Totally.
And the idea of sorting all the pieces into the red coloured pieces and the edge pieces and things like that is like the sort of methodical process you need to go through to be successful at doing a jigsaw. Doesn't seem like your thing.
No. Any patience that I have to draw upon, and I know that patience is a virtue, and I would be a better person if I had more patience. And so therefore anything I do that increases my patience is a redemptive thing for me to be doing. But why would I allow a pastime to have to be one of those? That's just, I'll allow work things and things that involve the tasks that I should be doing and doing well. But if I want to switch off. I want to do something enjoyable. So
you spend your patience wisely.
Indeed. I have a limited amount, and I pour it towards things that require it or that are more worthy than going, and look at this. And then they frame it, and I'm like, nah. You paint something, you can frame it. If you put it together, you don't get to frame it.
Says the guy who spends most of his time putting together IKEA furniture.
You should frame that. That's
You sit on that, or you try to sit on it before it falls apart.
That's one of those places where I have to, I am doing the right thing, spending my patience to do this and see this through to the end. This needs to be done.
I bet doing that IKEA furniture really tests you.
Oh, gosh. Particularly when there's multiple things of the one thing. It's like, okay, we've got a couple of desks. So we're putting the first one, it's kind of an interesting. It's like, now we've got to do another one. And I know how to do it, but now I have to do it. It's like, and I know when we get to screwing those little bits in, you get IKEA fingers and, that'll hurt for days. Yeah. Anyway.
What are you going to give jigsaws?
Oh, jigsaws. Yep. One.
One?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I thought about two and I thought, no.
Oh, wow. That's harsh.
They get one because I can see that they're a worthy thing, and I can see all the redemptive things. But for me, I get to give the score. Other people will give it a good score. I'm giving it a 1.
All right, my final one is the sport of basketball.
Oh, that's so funny. I had a spare one here, which was the NBA.
I'm looking at basketball in general, the NBA obviously being the showpiece.
Yep. Well, you'd think I'd have some insightful things to say, though, wouldn't you, having had it on my list, but I don't.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm a bit down on basketball. I love all sport. I'll watch anything, I'll play anything, and I'm usually all right at most sports I'll play. I'm not good at basketball. I've never been very good at basketball. I went and watched my first NBA game last year, and I did enjoy that experience. Mm-hmm. But generally, it's not something I particularly like watching on television, because I think basketball, no matter what happens, always just comes down to the last couple of minutes. And I was watching this game the other night, in the playoffs, and I just kept skipping forward 10 minutes.
Yep.
And the score was just always, just fluctuating within a few points of each other. I don't know why basketball games so often are pretty close at the end, but they are. And you may say, that's quite exciting then. It's always good to have close finishes, but it's almost like predictably exciting.
Yeah.
Basketball just doesn't float my boat. I much prefer baseball and American football. I don't really like ice hockey, but I don't really count that as a sport. So I'm quite down on basketball. I loved the Jordan documentary, and I loved it when Jordan was a big deal. And I was, like everyone, I was into the NBA then, and I was playing my NBA Jam video games. And so I've gone through, and I used to like playing basketball games on the computer and stuff, but I'm over that now. I feel like I'm very much over basketball, and I'm about as middle of the road about basketball as you can be. And for that reason, I think I'll give it a 5.
There you go. Wow. I have to say I'm a bit similar. When I was young, I felt pressure that I should be good at basketball, but I was never particularly interested in it. And yet I still felt that feeling of, oh, geez, I'm supposed to be into this. And I never was. And I never I'm not particularly good at it, but I'm not particularly good at anything sport related, and I do love, a couple of other sports. So, yeah, I agree with you about the game itself. It feels like basketball would be a better match if it was 10 minutes, and it would be an intense, awesome 10 minutes, and I'd probably watch it. I'd be into it. It'd be great,
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Heated, bang, it's over. And even when they win a match, there's heaps and heaps of matches. And so it's like, oh, yeah. Even the playoffs is like, more playoffs and more playoffs. And feels like, I remember you saying once it always feels like the playoffs are on, like they're always on. And so I don't have strong feelings, but I feel like I'd like to go see a basketball match. And every now and then, and I can watch a highlights package and enjoy it. It does, I feel like it's better. It's a better sport in the highlights packages than it is in reality.
Yeah, like top 10 players of the week, and you're seeing all these incredible feats of athleticism. It's brilliant,
Yeah.
But there's no context to them. It's just like watching someone do like a magic show or trick.
That's right. Yeah, and I love NBA Jam more than I love basketball itself, which is.
Yeah.
So,
what are you going to give basketball out of 10?
Oh, look, I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to give it a straight 5. I'm
all right.
We're right on the money together, I think, there. I'm going to go hot dogs. Hot dogs.
Hot dogs, the food?
Yeah. I've been craving a hot dog for a week, and I can't find one anywhere.
Oh, afterwards, I'm going to give you I ordered this hot dog and special fries on Uber Eats 2 nights ago, and it was unbelievable. The fries were even better, but the hot dog was good. I'll give you the details of the place. It was incredible, man.
Please do.
Yeah.
Because we used to get our hot dogs from Wendy's, which is a particular, I'm sure it's in America too. It's an American company.
Yeah, but Wendy's in America is different to Wendy's in Australia. Wendy's in America is a completely different thing. But
Oh, okay. Anyway, they had hot dogs and ice cream, and I love their hot dogs. There's none in the city. And
Australian Wendy's hot dogs are great.
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm. And I've been craving one. And even the other day, you can go to IKEA, the furniture store, and they have, believe it or not, cheap hot dogs. And I walked up and the guy goes, "I'm sorry, man, we're all out of hot dogs." And I'm like, gosh, this is a massive, massive retailer. So I just only got one. Even though they're inferior there, I was just craving one. So I'm still craving one. I love hot dogs.
I'll set you up, man. I'll set you up. I'll give you the name of the place on Uber Eats. I'll put it out there straight away. I love hot dogs. I love hot dogs, especially in America. Hot dogs would be in my top 3 favourite foods. I mean, just because they're unhealthy, I don't want to be seen to be giving them a 10 because that's just a bad look. So for that reason, I'm going to give hot dogs a 9.2. I love them. Love cheese on them. I love all kinds of hot dogs. I'm like, I could talk forever. I could just continually say I love hot dogs and over and over again, but that would be quite boring. And we've been recording for quite a while. So let me just say, thumbs up to hot dogs.
I know they're a quintessentially American kind of food. In Australia, the Aussie meat pie, which is like a pastry pie thing, is sort of our classic thing. And I like a pie, but I've gone off.
That's what I had for lunch today, by the way.
Oh, really? Well done, man. Wasn't it what you had for lunch the other day when you arrived? Yeah.
All right. What are you going to give them?
Well, so the hot dogs, I tell you, I have to say, one thing that I found surprising in New York is how small they are. And that was initially disappointed, but it turned into a celebration because you get one at one corner and by the time you get to the next corner, you've eaten it, so you can get another one. And
it's like little hors d'oeuvres to have all the way through the city.
It's marvellous. They last one block walking. It's marvellous. And make your way all the way downtown. I like hot dogs.
And then you can go into like restaurants that will do big jumbo ones, but yeah.
I'm going to give them 9.5 as well. I'm a big rat.
9.5, man.
9.5. Yep. 9.5.
Ending on a high with hot dogs. All right. And so ends our list.
Yes.
20 items here.
How is the league table looking? Where do you
want to hear the final league table? I hope everyone at home's been playing along. If you've been playing along at home, you might want to integrate your scores with ours and, divide by 3 or with our total and divide by 2 or whatever you like. Do what you like. Do get in touch with your scores. Here is our final league table. Should I go bottom to top or top to bottom?
Bottom to top. Build up.
Bottom to top. Bottom of the table with a mere 4.2 out of 10 jigsaw puzzles.
Yep.
Then we go up to 4.75, the number 23. And then the last one that scored below 5 with 4.9 was Purple, the colour.
Yep. Okay.
Scoring exactly 5 at position 17 is basketball.
Yep.
With 6, the Australian Parliament.
Oh, yeah.
6.5, the Beverly Hills 90210 graduation episode.
Which is quite a good score in retrospect, really.
Just above that, we have a tie, both scoring 6.7, is the colour yellow and beaches.
Yes.
Above that, we're at 6.85, so just above those two, we have eBay scoring around 7 out of 10. KFC Chips, just above KFC Chips at 7.05. Bon Jovi, the band. And something we only just liked more than Bon Jovi is Winter at 7.15. Better than Winter even is the film Castaway, 7.4. Just above that at 7.5 is Thursdays. And just above Thursdays at 7.6. The Schuyler Sisters, the song from Hamilton. At 7.75, Milo. Even better than Milo at 7.95. The Big Rocking Horse in Gumaraka. And now the top 3.
Yes.
Scoring 8.5 out of 10. Tom Cruise's appearance in Top Gun. In second place, scoring a very impressive 9.25, Hallies Comet.
Yes.
And the only thing better than Hallies Comet, scoring 9.35, hot dogs.
I think that's not bad, actually.
Is there anything you think there that's terribly out of position in hindsight?
Well, the things that jarred a little bit were I thought eBay's maybe could come down just a little bit, but then I think, oh, no, it's handy. I'll be on it later, like looking at something.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. Basketball maybe could drop down a little bit. I think it's not a bad
I think
score.
Jigsaws were pretty hard done by being bottom of the list.
In retrospect, yeah. If I was to rate jigsaws and basketball, I'd, put them a bit closer together. So come up a little bit, come down a little bit, one and the other.
The colour purple was also very hard done by because you gave it a 2.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, you don't like it. These are it's our marks out of 10. So there's going to be a bit of personal biases in there. There you go.
I wonder if people could combine all of those activities at once. What it would be like a day doing a jigsaw, listening to Bon Jovi, buying the puzzle off eBay. The jigsaw could be of a basketball player, maybe Michael Jordan with the number 23 on.
Oh, look, you're getting right into it now.
The best part, of course, is that you could have some KFC chips and eat a hot dog, which would be good.
A day ago it was an idea, now we've made an episode. We'll have a listen back and tell us what you think. Was it a good idea? Is it a good idea for a podcast? I don't know.
I think it's a longer idea than I thought it was. I thought it was a quick episode.
We were like, let's do a quick one so you can be home in time to see the family. An hour and a half later, we're talking about hot dogs. Finally, what are you going to give that episode out of 10?
I give it a good score. I think that's an 8.5 out of 10 episode. I think it was good. I enjoyed it.